Welcome to No Borders with Brian and Carrie. We are really excited to be starting this venture with a podcast. This is brand new to us, our very first episode. And so in this episode, what we really want to get started with is just kind of giving you an introduction of who we are, what we do, why we're starting a podcast, and kind of what got us started on the adventure that we are on.
Right. Now, I'm Brian, of the two of us. I've got 3 daughters who live in Florida, Arizona, and Washington State. So they're kind of scattered around the country, 33, 31, and 22. So I've raised my kids. They're out of the house. And that is how I am able to do what I'm doing with Carrie.
Right. So I am 53. I have 2 kids and I have 3 grandkids. And all of my family, for the most part, is actually still centralized here in my hometown of Bellingham, Washington. So when we come home, it's very easy for me because I can pretty much see everybody.
Yeah, I've been lucky the last couple of years. They've come to me. Now, that might not happen every year.
So also a little bit about kind of what, because we get this question of what did we do for work prior to leaving, because we actually both really enjoyed our jobs. It had nothing with us deciding to leave. It was actually a hard decision. So I worked for the city that we live in, and I did administrative work and loved the job that I had. I miss it at times still, miss the people, but I very much, I enjoyed my job.
You enjoyed your job. I enjoyed mine as well. I felt like I worked with and for friends of mine. I was in the beer and wine business, so I was a salesperson who went out and sold beer, wine, liquor, whatever you might need. And we did love our jobs. It was just, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, we were looking for that change. So now kind of want to get into a bit about what brought us to making the big decision of leaving all of it and walking away and starting a life of full-time travel.
I think for me, it was affordability, what I was spending each month to live in Bellingham, what I was doing on my weekends. It became repetitive. My job became repetitive, and I was looking for something new. And the opportunity came up well before I thought it would. But here we are.
Now, when we left, we had this idea. Actually, Brian had the idea he wanted to do YouTube. I was going to do a blog. But we went ahead and just jumped on board of doing YouTube. And within the first week, so we get our one-way ticket to Spain.
Yeah.
We're hit the road. And within a week, we put out our first YouTube video.
Yeah. We thought it was going to be easy.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to be easy. We each had a camera. We each had a computer. We each were going to edit a video and put it all together and then put it on YouTube. And we quickly found out that it's not that easy. It doesn't work that way. The gear that we started with is completely different, for the most part, on what we have now. And things have changed a lot.
Right. And, so we started out with that, with the idea that hopefully we would make a little bit of money doing it, really just to subsidize a little bit of our travels. And thank goodness it has turned out that way. It has done well for us. We enjoy doing it. It gives us something to do while we're on the road. And so kind of a little about our videos and kind of what our YouTube channel is about is, we started out just bringing location-based videos. We were just bringing location, and then we would do a cost breakdown video. I would say we still kind of do that. We do the location, but we do a lot more based on people who are also looking at the information on how to travel full-time, like what's involved.
We were smart enough from the beginning. The one thing that we did do right in the very beginning was focus on the budget, and we still do.
Yeah.
So that is kind of what our channel is all about, but we've added a lot to it. Tricks along the way, how we do this, that, and the other. But budget is always the base of our videos.
Yeah, the costs are really a focal point just because for us, when we were looking at starting doing full-time travel, that was such a huge question that we had because people will watch some of our full-time travel, like our cost breakdown for an entire time that we say spend in Italy. And to them, Italy may not be the best example because it's pretty expensive, but say our cost breakdown of what it cost us to be in Turkey, and they see how incredibly affordable that lifestyle is. And then it just kind of makes it like, oh, to other people, oh, we could actually do this, or we could retire early as
This is
well.
realistic. This is something, if I say it all the time, if they can do it, so can I. And that's kind of what our videos are about. Now, not everybody can do it the way we do it. Not everybody will want to do it the way we do it. To travel the way we do. But then there are others that figure they can. And that's kind of what it's all about.
Yeah. So at this point, we have now been to 19 countries, and we have really loved every place we've gone to. We've pushed ourselves into areas that we may not have originally. First off, they would have never been on our list if we were just doing vacations.
If they would not have been on our list if we were just doing vacations, they would not have been obtainable. We also would not have gone unless there was COVID.
Right.
Or the Schengen zone. We had to get out of this Schengen zone, and because of COVID, we couldn't go to Argentina, was the original plan. So we ended up in Romania. Well, we fell in love with Romania. To this day, we love Romania.
Love Romania.
It's a very cool place to be. So put it on your list.
Yeah. So I think that it's forced us doing the travel that we do when we can stay in places for longer stretches, and like I said, having to get out of the Schengen zone, it's pushed us into those areas that we would have never in our life ever traveled to, which has been a lot of fun.
Montenegro, Albania, some of these Bosnia, some of these places where you just wouldn't go to if you had 2 or 3 weeks vacations. You go to Italy, you go to Spain. Well, we got to go to some pretty outstanding places that we otherwise would not have gone to.
So like we mentioned, the style of travel that we do is what they call slow travel. And it is, for us, it has so many benefits and we have really found that it works really well for us. We've tried the other kind of travel and it doesn't work so well, but it really just allows us to see places and really get to know a place where when you were just going on vacation and you're in a place for 3-4 days, you get away from that place and then you have no idea what you saw. You forget what it was because you're just moving so fast. So we are going to, on an upcoming podcast, we're going to go into a lot deeper what slow travel really is, how it works, what it really looks like and what's involved in it. And one of the key things is how it saves you a lot of money.
Yeah, and we're going to compare it to the fast travel adventure that we tried to go on and what makes the difference and why we prefer the slow travel.
Yeah. So the next thing that we want to do, and one of the things we're going to do in each of our episodes, is we're going to bring you just a couple questions that we get asked, because we get a lot of questions from people either through email or on our social media or on YouTube. And, we answer those questions to those individuals, but we really feel like a lot of these questions are questions that either we've been asked multiple times or they're questions other people have, and they're not going to see the answer that we give for the other.
And, we've also done Q&A videos on YouTube. But the problem with those is not everybody goes back and watches our old videos. So you should, but not everybody does. You get new viewers all the time. So this is an opportunity for us to answer those questions.
Yeah. So the first question that we have, which we get this one quite often, especially considering solo travelers, is how do we stay safe in other countries?
Yeah, wherever you're going, you're going to do some research online beforehand. You're going to know whether or not that country is safe or not to begin with. But you're going to want to take other precautions. We usually register online before we even go.
Yeah, so when he's talking about the registering, what that is it's called the STEP program, and it's through the United States government. So if you're from another country, it might be something different for you. But the nice thing about that is that as a really good example, actually, when we were in Turkey, we were registered in the program. And they ask you what days you're entering, so what day you're going to enter into the country, and then what day you're exiting out of the country. And then during that time that you are there, you are going to get notifications of anything that is going on that you should be aware of. And so for that being a good example is because of the war that just broke out in Israel. We were there when that happened in Turkey. And so we were on the program, and we would get emails of that there was going to be a protest or things like that. So that is one thing that I highly recommend doing, no matter where you're going, even if it isn't an area of conflict.
Right. And, we also do the local things that you should always do anyway. We know our 911, whatever it is. We have a pretty good idea where the hospital's at. Yeah. We know how to get an Uber if we need one in a hurry. So all those little things you just do anyway.
Right.
Really.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say is that you always just want to make sure that you have stayed in contact with family, with friends.
Yes, that's a good one.
If you're a solo traveler, make sure that your family knows, even as not a solo traveler, when I'm booking our Airbnbs, I include, so when you're done booking it, you can then include somebody in your reservation. And so I just include my mom in our reservation, because then she has the full listing. And that if she needed to ever get a hold of either Airbnb or get a hold of, say, our host, she has that contact information. So those are just those kind of smart things to do so that somebody knows where you're at and where to start looking in case of, natural disaster or anything. So there's just a lot of those steps that you can take that are going to make you feel a lot better.
I should include my mom on that, too.
You should, yes.
I should. I will. Sorry, Mom. Okay, next question. How do we maintain our friendships back home, maintain our relationships with our family while we're on the road 24/7?
Yeah. So, this was something that was probably concerning to us when we first left because we didn't even know how we were going to navigate that. I just honestly, with social media, I can't imagine doing what we were doing so many years ago before all of those things were available to keep in contact, where you just had a phone that you could call on. I think that our family, first off, I can see on social media, I can see things that my kids post. I can see things about my grandkids or my niece and nephew and stuff. So I think that level just kind of makes you feel a little bit like you're connected, and as well as for our friends and family, because of YouTube and all of our social media stuff, I think that helps them feel a little bit more connected.
They know where we're at for the most part all the time. We do come home twice a year, and the time we get with our friends and family now is much more quality.
Yeah,
we spend days with our parents. We spend days with our kids. We spend time with our friends doing other things besides drinking beer in the garage and throwing darts. They're more meaningful relationships.
Yeah. And the other thing to remember is it doesn't matter where you're traveling in the world, you are going to be able to, we have not been to one location yet where we have not been able to text message, no different than we were at home, call on the phone, video chat, do any of those same things that you would do now. So I think that if you utilize all of those, it's really going to kind of help close that gap and not make you feel so far away.
Right. They have internet all over the world. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So we hope that you enjoyed this. And if you want to stay in contact with us outside of a podcast, you can find us also on YouTube and our social media on Facebook and Instagram at Brian and Carrie. You can also find our website, which is brianandcarrietravels.com. And we are excited to, like we said, just start this series and bring you some new information.
New information. And we've got some ideas, but if you jump on one of those other platforms and decide to let us know what you would like to hear, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, or if you have a question that we're going to be answering at the end, reach out on one of the social platforms. All right.
Cheers.